The Bank of Sri Lanka launched the first ever National Financial Inclusion Strategy of Sri Lanka.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As all of you are aware, the launch of the Financial Literacy Roadmap marks a key milestone in the journey on implementation of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. This roadmap, which will be launched today, will serve as a compass guiding everyone involved in the domain of financial literacy to work together. Now, to welcome our distinguished guests today, I'd like to invite Mrs. Dilukshini Watudura, Assistant Governor of Central Bank of Sri Lanka, to the podium. Over to you, Ms. Dilukshini.
Governor, Ms. Azusa Kubota, Resident Representative of UNDP, representatives from IFC, my colleagues at the Central Bank, distinguished invitees, good morning to you all. It is with great pleasure and anticipation that we gather here today for the launch of Sri Lanka's Financial Literacy Roadmap, a significant milestone in our journey towards enhancing financial inclusion and capability across our nation. Before we delve into the details of this occasion, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to every one of you. Your presence here today is a witness to your commitment to the advancement of financial literacy and inclusion in Sri Lanka. Your participation underscores the importance of collaborative action in addressing the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in making a financially literate country. Developed as a cornerstone of Sri Lanka's National Financial Inclusion Strategy, this roadmap stands as a demonstration of the collaborative spirit and unwavering dedication of all stakeholders involved, spearheaded by the Central Bank through the National Financial Inclusion Secretariat, and with active participation from various entities. This roadmap embodies a shared commitment to empower our citizens with the knowledge and skills necessary to make financial decisions. At its core, the roadmap is designed to cultivate a culture of informed decision-making and responsible financial behavior among Sri Lankans of all ages. By providing evidence-based guidance and fostering collaboration, it aspires to not only promote financial inclusion, but also to enhance consumer protection and contribute to overall financial stability. Central to the roadmap vision is the recognition of the pivotal role that education plays in shaping the financial behavior of both present and future generations. Through a comprehensive action plan meticulously crafted by financial literacy stakeholders, we are poised to embark on a journey of empowerment, equipping individuals with knowledge they need to make prudent financial choices and secure their financial future. I'm confident that our collective efforts will lead Sri Lanka to a more financially secure and inclusive future. Together, we can create a lasting impact that will benefit generations to come. With that note, I'll wind up. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dilukshini, for those gracious words of welcome. Now, today's Financial Literacy Roadmap represents a significant step towards this endeavor. And the leadership of Central Bank has been instrumental in driving these efforts. Therefore, it is with great honor that I invite Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Governor of Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the co-chair of the National Financial Inclusion Council, to address you today. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor of Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ms. Azusa Kubota, Resident Representative UNDP, who always have been helping us in this agenda on financial inclusion and also literacy, and members of the National Financial Inclusion Council and the Management Committee of NFI, National Financial Inclusion Strategy, that we have been working a long period with all the stakeholders, and secretaries to the Ministry of Industries, and as well as other distinguished invitees. Our local representative of UN is also here. Thank you very much for your participation here. And ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed it's a great pleasure for me to basically involve in this process and give the leadership of the central bank in this very important agenda for the country, this national agenda, where we have also been a part of this agenda as under the mandate that central bank has been given under the new act. It's a financial inclusion. It's one of our main responsibilities. That's where we are involved, and so we also want to support this agenda, also get this support from all the stakeholders. The financial literacy, an inherent part of financial inclusion that I talk about, our main responsibility, plays a crucial role in promoting inclusive economic development and securing financial system stability. This is also one of our objectives. Central banks have a long history rich in efforts taken to improve financial inclusion, not only in Sri Lanka, but in some other countries in the region. There are many reasons for the central bankers to steer financial inclusion agendas, because this is very connected and related to our key objective. Financially inclusive and literate individuals make informed decisions about savings, investment, and borrowings. They are more likely to understand the impact of monetary policy decisions that we take and respond appropriately in line with the monetary policy stance, contributing to effective policy implementation. That's one part how that is linked to central bank objective, key objective. Secondly, financial literate consumers will make informed choices and will demand an efficient, transparent, and responsible culture from financial institutions, largely that we regulate. The major part of financial institutions, Sri Lanka as a regulator and supervisor of financial deposit-taking institutions. On the other hand, financial literacy can also increase public trust in the financial system by supporting individuals to understand how the financial system works. This understanding of also very important for public to make those important decisions, and also create and gain the credibility and trust of the system. By promoting financial literacy, financial consumers will be empowered to safeguard themselves from financial fraud and abuse. This is very common, not only Sri Lanka, even across countries, but this is where empowering the consumer is very important to safeguard them from frauds and abuses. Those are also growing with technology, with the new technologies. More importantly, financial literacy can support reducing our indebtedness, alleviating poverty, and breaking poverty traps. This is also an issue that we have been seeing in Sri Lanka. We have over indebtedness because of the lack of financial education and literacy, and that will also help alleviate poverty and people to come out of the poverty. Informed access to financial services enables people to manage their finances better, save for the future, and invest in opportunities that improve their economic situation. In the long run, this will reduce the burden on the government-funded social security program. So this is one of the issues that with the financial literate people, if they can come out of the poverty through their own important financial decision, that will certainly help the government in terms of reducing social safety net, burden of social safety net, and also help the people to come out of the poverty and have better living conditions. The forward-looking aspect of financial literacy advocates for equipping equipping future generation with necessary financial capabilities to be financially resilient when they become adult. This is, I think, even becoming adult. So we know it's important for even from the school level, at university level, this financial literacy is important aspect for them to understand and educate. Thus, investing in financial literacy will be an investment with higher social and economic returns. So this has definitely there are clear social and economic benefits out of better financial literacy of the public in any country. In this backdrop, Central Bank of Sri Lanka also strive to improve the financial inclusion landscape of Sri Lanka through various initiatives. So we have been working in this area for a long time. The introduction of National Financial Inclusion Strategy in 2021 with the help of all the stakeholders here by the Central Bank, currently in its implementation phase. So we know that we have implemented several phases. Now we are in I think we're going to upgrade this also for another period. That marks a significant milestone in this journey. This commitment was further solidified when the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Act No. 16 of 2023, the new Central Bank Act, which entrusted the Central Bank with the duty of promoting financial inclusion in Sri Lanka. Now, in our mandate, this has been given to the Central Bank formally to promote financial inclusion in Sri Lanka. Through this, that's the instrument we are using is the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. The Secretariat was established in the Regional Development Department of Central Bank. That department led the development of Sri Lanka's first ever financial literacy roadmap that we are going to launch. This effort was not solely taken by the Central Bank. So 40 national stakeholders, we have a large number of stakeholders on all the other areas, including financial sector regulators, ministries, academia, and other public and private sector institutions, collaborated to make this historical initiative a success. We are going to see it today. This roadmap provides an evidence-based policy framework aimed at positively changing the financial behavior towards the betterment of our public in Sri Lanka. The financial literacy roadmap that we are going to launch today has a well-thought-out policy framework which directs all the stakeholders to achieve 4 strategic priorities. We have clearly identified 4 strategic priorities. The first strategic priority is improved coordination and harmonized content, which aims to strengthen the coordination between the stakeholders and to standardize the financial literacy content to be delivered by them. So that's the harmonized content and improved coordination among the stakeholders, those who are involved in financial literacy programs. Second, improved positive financial behavior. It's the second strategic priority of this roadmap, which seeks to support Sri Lankans to transform their financial knowledge and skills to positive financial behavior. That's also important, not only literacy, but they have to adapt this to have improved financial behavior. That's also very important. The third strategic priority, empowered and vigilant financial consumers. This aims to address a dire need of current financial environment in Sri Lanka with regard to the improving consumer protection. This also improve. That's because the vigilant financial consumer is important to protect the consumer. Yes, consumer protection is one area that we also have a separate department on market conduct where it's all looking at the issues of the market conduct, and also is important in the third pillar of this financial literacy agenda. More importantly, the commitment of this initiative to create sustainable change is reflected through our fourth strategy, which is generational behavior change. So this is this behavioral change of financial consumer through more improved literacy is a generational change. It's difficult for consumer behavior to be changed in the short term. We have to do a lot of efforts through financial literacy. That's where we think it's a change in the generational behavior. This strategic priority focuses on improving financial capabilities of the youth. Because of generational change, you have to start from the youth and the school children. So the improving financial capabilities of the youth and school children to ensure positive behavioral change in the future generation of Sri Lanka. That's also an important one from the school level, that a lot of other countries have this financial literacy and education right from the school curricula. So that's one of the things that is easier to make that generational change. On the operational front, the roadmap serves as guidance for all financial literacy service providers in Sri Lanka. So it provides guidance not only for people who are enrolled in Central Bank, but also all the service providers, offering direction to achieve such behavioral changes across all target groups. Target groups, as I said earlier, include children, school, universities, and also general public, all range of groups, including the adults. Comprehensive and practical action plan is designed to achieve a financially literate Sri Lanka. Thus, this roadmap not only provides direction and guidance to policymakers and financial literacy service providers, but also illuminates the hopes of our fellow Sri Lankans for a better and financially inclusive future. I sincerely hope that the implementation of this roadmap is very crucial to realizing these aspirations will be efficient, effective, and successful with the active support of our donors, including UN agencies. Especially, I thank UNDP and all the other stakeholders who have been supporting us and continue supporting going forward. I extend my heartfelt thanks to UNDP for collaborating with us in this implementation phase, and we look forward to working together to achieve the expected outcome. This nice its objectives are similar, so we have a good collaboration in this agenda. I also take this opportunity to thank our long-standing development partner, the International Finance Corporation, which has been supporting all the time, for their support throughout our journey towards a financially inclusive Sri Lanka. Considering the unprecedented nature of this national effort, we may require extensive support from our multilateral partners. There are many opportunities to shape Sri Lanka's future through the partnerships we forge on this journey. With that, I would like to reaffirm the Central Bank's commitment to promoting financial inclusion in this country, and also call upon all stakeholders and multilateral partners to stand together and support this forward-looking national endeavor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Governor, for your encouraging remarks. As mentioned earlier, the launch and implementation of the Financial Literacy Roadmap of Sri Lanka is a multi-stakeholder effort. And the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, extended financial assistance for this initiative. So I'm honored to invite Ms. Azusa Kubota, Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Programme, to share her insights with us today. Over to you, Madam.
Dr. Veera Singha, the Governor of the Central Bank, Mrs. Durg Sitini, Assistant Governor, Mr. Arya Dasa, Director of Regional Development Department, members of the National Financial Inclusion Secretariat, development partners, and dear colleagues. Very good morning to you. I'm very honored to be here present at this gathering, marking the launch of the Financial Literacy Roadmap for the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. This is a very much needed and timely initiative, as it has the potential to address several of the multi-dimensional challenges faced by the community today. Since my arrival in this country, one year and a half ago, I have been traveling across the country to listen to the voices of the communities, particularly women and young people. It has become very clear that economic hardships have resulted in compounded debt amongst the vulnerable families. As part of data from the Multidimensional Vulnerability Report, recently launched by UNDP in collaboration with the Oxford University, shows that more than half of the Sri Lankans were reported to be multidimensionally vulnerable. and close to 70% of them had to reduce at least one meal a day to cope. And amongst all of the 12 indicators composing the MVI, the highest contributor to the vulnerability is the indicator related to household debt. 33.4% of the Sri Lankan population experienced vulnerability and deprivation in debt-related indicators, including getting into debt for essential needs like food, medical care, and education, as well as pawning jewelry and selling household items. In light of the economic crisis that continues, it is highly probable that individual debt situations have deteriorated, consequently resulting in elevated deprivations in the debt indicator since the data was collected in 2023. To substantiate the MVI findings, I heard from the communities that often the lack of financial literacy amongst the borrowers, particularly women-headed households, contribute to their vulnerability. Women often were forced into signing agreements in a language that they did not understand. They did not know the rights and responsibilities, nor the terms of borrowing. In the absence of basic financial literacy, they were often forced into poor financial decisions. One of the factors addressing the acute debt-related vulnerabilities could involve financial literacy programs, debt management strategies, and livelihood diversification options that are often lacking in their livelihoods. This will also require the development of sustainable livelihoods options for them so that they could come out of this cycle of poverty and deprivations. In this regard, financial literacy has a strong role to play in alleviating the vulnerabilities faced by many of the people in the communities in Sri Lanka at this point in time. Therefore, UNDP is pleased to collaborate with the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, extending our technical expertise to develop financial literacy-related modules, design an advocacy campaign for the financial literacy brand, and disseminate the content, particularly amongst young people and women working in MSMEs. I hope there's going to be an explanation of the mascot chosen for this, the bee. I was just explained that the bees would have knowledge and also make wise decisions while being very hardworking. And more importantly, they collect honeys that nurtures the families. So I hope every Sri Lankan will be a busy bee and wise honey at the end of this program. Financial inclusion is positioned prominently as an enabler of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, where it is featured as a target in 8 of the 17 goals. Additionally, in SDG 17, on strengthening the means of implementation, there is an implicit role for greater financial inclusion through savings mobilization for investment and consumption that can spur economic growth. Therefore, advocating for higher financial literacy is another important facet in all of the UN's efforts for a more sustainable Sri Lanka. UNDP, together with the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, aims to extend the reach of financial information and financial markets where they would otherwise not go. In particular, through this partnership, UNDP aims to target women, already mentioned, based on the growing evidence that access to savings leads to positive economic outcomes for women, including increasing productivity and profits and greater investment in their businesses. We'd like to incorporate this financial inclusion program in our existing activities, focusing on integrated water management, agriculture activities, social protection, and livelihoods, so that it will be a boost for all the investments we're making. In conclusion, I'd like to reiterate UNDP's continued commitment to working with the government of Sri Lanka to mainstream approaches and methods to improve access to finance. On behalf of UNDP, let me once again convey my deep appreciation to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka and other partners for endorsing this exercise and for continued leadership and support. And I hope many of the development partners will join the efforts to make that much needed boost. We have no option but to move decisively into an economic transition which has financial inclusion at the heart of it. UNDP remains firmly committed to working alongside with the government and people of Sri Lanka in this journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kubota, for your remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have arrived at a pivotal moment, the official launch of the Financial Literacy Roadmap of Sri Lanka. May I now invite Dr. Nandlal Veerasinghe, Governor of Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the co-chair of the National Financial Inclusion Council, and Ms. Asusa Kubota, Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Programme, to join us on stage to receive the Financial Literacy Roadmap of Sri Lanka. And may I also invite Mrs. Nelumani Daulagala, Deputy Governor of Central Bank, and Mrs. Dilushini Vatudura, Assistant Governor of Central Bank of Sri Lanka, to join us in this moment. Mr. Chathura Redasa, Director of Regional Development Department of Central Bank of Sri Lanka, will now present the National Financial Inclusion Secretariat, also heading the National Finance Secretariat, will now present the roadmap to the Governor and also to Ms. Asusa Kubota. Thank you very much, all distinguished guests. The e-version of the Financial Literacy Roadmap is now available in all 3 languages. I invite all our distinguished guests to use the QR code, which is now being displayed on the video wall, to access the e-version of the Financial Literacy Roadmap in your preferred language. I believe you have received the QR code printed to your hand, so you can check that out as well. What you now see on screen is a glimpse of the Financial Literacy Roadmap we launched just now. As mentioned earlier, this will provide evidence-based guidance to all financial literacy stakeholders to move towards a single policy goal. Now, as we reach the conclusion of today's program, I'd like to invite Mr. Chathura Aryadasa, Director of Regional Development Department of Central Bank of Sri Lanka, to deliver a vote of thanks for the day. Over to you, sir.
Governor, Co-Chair of the National Financial Inclusion Council, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. What we all have experienced today is a turning point of our journey towards financially inclusive Sri Lanka. In such a momentous occasion, it's my sincere pleasure to stand here before you and thank you on behalf of the NFIS Secretariat at RDD Central Bank. First, I would like to thank the National Financial Inclusion Council, which is co-chaired by the Governor of the Central Bank and the Secretary to the Treasury, and also the Management Committee of NFIS for their continuous guidance and leadership provided to us. And without unwavering support of our stakeholder institutions who contributed to the development process, we wouldn't be able to achieve what we have seen today. I humbly thank all our stakeholder institutions for being pillars of strength during this process. I hope you would extend the same support and same spirit during the implementation phase also, prioritizing financial literacy in institutional policy agendas and actively completing the actions undertaken by your institutions. I should have a special thank for all our development partners, including United Nations Development Program and also International Finance Corporation, for their support and commitment to improve financial inclusion landscape of Sri Lanka. We hope, as Governor also stressed, to build as many collaborations as we can to make the implementation phase of this roadmap effective and a successful one. I would also like to thank my fellow central bankers who actively contributed to develop the roadmap and made this event a success. Thank you very much for considering this effort as one of your own and supporting us all the way from the beginning of this process. I make this an opportunity to thank my RDT team for the commitment and devotion. I think now they have vested with enormous responsibility to work with all stakeholders to ensure intended outcomes of this roadmap are achieved. Finally, I would like to thank you all for being present here to witness this momentous occasion. I sincerely hope you all would support our journey towards a financially literate Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aredas, for your heartfelt word of thanks. Now, this marks the successful completion of today's program, and we sincerely hope that this initiative will serve as a powerful tool to build financially literate Sri Lanka. And refreshments have been arranged in the lobby area. Please join us for refreshments before leaving. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.